Welcome to News 9 and you are watching On Point. Let's take a quick look at the headlines. Government rolls back mandate on pre-installing Sanchar Sathi mobile application. Move follows rising public acceptance with 1.4 crore downloads. Delhi government to form panel to monitor air pollution. Committee to be chaired by Chief Minister Rekha Gupta. Calcutta High Court restores jobs of 32,000 primary teachers, quashes the single bench verdict, says the recruitment process cannot be undone in totality. TVK chief Vijay slams DMK government, blames incomplete construction of storm water drains for the severe Chennai waterlogging, urges swift monsoon management. And now let's begin with the On Point 1. On Point 1 is about SIR. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has started to prepare the electoral pitch for West Bengal Assembly elections. He met BJP MPs from the state. He told them to connect with people and work hard to win the Assembly elections. Prime Minister Modi said that the voter list ka shuddhikaran zaruri hai. He said that BJP should start preparing for the polls and the party must connect with people's issues. He asked the BJP to expose the violent nature of the TMC's politics and explain the necessity of the SIR process. On the other hand, Mamata Banerjee, the Chief Minister of West Bengal, is also simultaneously campaigning on the issue. She held a rally in Murshidabad and will hold a rally in Malda on 4th, followed by one in Cooch, Bihar on 9th December. This marks Mamata's second phase of SIR mobilization. Last week, she held a rally in Mathura-dominated area. Mamata wants to counter the Ghuspatia narrative. She wants to create the narrative that SIR will deprive the poor of their vote. This point did not work well in Bihar. Bihar too has sizable Muslim population. Though in West Bengal, the Muslim population is around 30%, so things can play out differently.
प्रधानमंत्री जी को ये साफ कहना है कि वोटर लिस्ट का शुद्धिकरण होना चाहिए और वो हो रहे हैं, वो काम ठीक तरीके से हो, हमारा कार्यकर्ता उसमें ठीक से लगे रहे, यही उनकी आदेश है।
वोटर लिस्ट के আমরাও মে আই হেল্প ইউ ক্যাম্প চালু করছি। আমরাও মে আই হেল্প ইউ কালকে অলরেডি আমি মিটিং এ ঘোষণা করেছি, আজকে সেটা বলছি যে 12 তারিখ থেকে মে আই হেল্প ইউ ক্যাম্প হবে। ব্লকে ব্লকে যার যা প্রয়োজন, যেটা নেই সেটা সেখান থেকে করিয়ে নেবেন। আপনার কাগজপত্র থাকলে, যদি বাই চান্স শংসাপত্রে অ্যাপ্লাই করেছেন পাননি, চিন্তা করবেন না, ওখান থেকে আপনি পেয়ে যাবেন। আর আমাদের তৃণমূল কংগ্রেস কর্মীদের বলছি, খুব অ্যাক্টিভলি পিএলএ একদম কাজ করতে হবে এবং সমস্ত ইলেকশনের সময় যেভাবে আমরা বুথ ক্যাম্প করি, মানুষকে সাহায্য করার জন্য দিন রাত এক করে পরিশ্রম করে মানুষকে সাহায্য করতে হবে।
नहीं, बंगाल के सारे मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट, लोकसभा, राज्यसभा, प्रधानमंत्री जी से मिलना हुआ और जब भी उनसे मिलते हैं एक नई ऊर्जा मिलती है और कुछ नई जानकारी भी मिलता है। और बंगाल का जहां तक विषय है, उन्होंने हाल ही में हमारे एक आदिवासी सांसद को किस तरह से टीएमसी के गुंडों ने पीटा था, उसकी जानकारी ली। दार्जिलिंग में जो लैंडस्लाइड के कारण 1000 से ज्यादा घर बह गए, भारी नुकसान हुआ और किसी तरह का सहयोग राज्य से नहीं मिला, जबकि एसडीआरएफ फंड के अंतर्गत 5 साल में डिजास्टर के लिए केंद्र सरकार ने पश्चिम बंगाल सरकार को 5000 करोड़ रुपए दिया था, उसके बावजूद भी अठन्नी हमको नहीं मिली। ये सब विषयों के ऊपर में भी चर्चा हुआ।
So what do we make of the Prime Minister's Shuddhikaran statement on this issue? I am joined by Smita Mishra, author and senior journalist, Mohammad Tausif Rahman, spokesperson TMC, Dr. Pooja Tripathi, spokesperson Congress Party, and Jasmine Sandhawalia, spokesperson BJP. Quickly, I'll start with Mohammad Tausif Rahman, spokesperson TMC. Your opening comments on Prime Minister saying voter list के शुद्धिकरण करना जरूरी है.
Sir, he can, good evening to everyone. Sir, he can say anything he wants to because he is the Prime Minister of India and he has all the right to say whatever he feels like. But sometimes I feel he's not the Prime Minister, just the party head of BJP. So that's where we oppose. I mean, we are not opposing any process, sir. However, any legitimate voter's name is removed, we will take a constitutional fight. इसको अगर आप कहेंगे that, oh my God, Mamata Banerjee is threatening someone, okay, take it as threat. If you think Abhishek Bandyopadhyay is threatening someone कि हम BLO को देख लेंगे, no, it's not like that. This fight against the SIR and the Zamindar, BJP all the way to Delhi. If any eligible vote has been omitted, we will pursue the matter through legal channels, sir. The ECI must not be allowed to become a branch office of BJP. If democracy is under attack, we cannot remain silent. It is as simple as that. So if you think if Tausif Rahman is wrong, if Trinamool Congress is wrong, to save the democracy, to save the people of Bengal, and to save those legitimate names, if this is a threat, then okay, fine, it's a threat. Not a problem at all.
Okay. Okay, your opening statement, madam. Jasmine Sandawala, spokesperson, Bharatiya Janata Party. Voter list का शुद्धिकरण जरूरी है. The Prime Minister said in a meeting when he met the MPs of Bharatiya Janata Party from West Bengal.
Karthikeya, there is literally nothing wrong in making that statement, and the Prime Minister has every right to say that. After all, he's the head of this nation, and the SIR is a reality, and the shuddhikaran should take place. After all, we are a vibrant democracy of 1.4 billion people living here. And what is the big who cry if the lists are checked? Whether if there is a huge number of people who do not live in the same states and have moved away, or there is a list of people who have died. So there's really nothing wrong with this list, but the boogie which is being created by the opposition, which they recently did in Bihar also, and they faced defeat there. And in West Bengal also, unfortunately, Mamata Banerjee should have become a very mature and a seasoned leader by now. After all, she's been in active politics for decades. But this is one of the last elections that she's probably facing, where she's feeling the heat that she's going to lose, and that's why this whole charade that is being done up. And I think she's holding some very big rally on the 9th of December also to create this boogie and create this fair psychosis among people that the BJP is taking away their right to vote. That is totally untrue, and that's a very fraudulent statement.
What makes you so confident, madam? You know, both the campaigns, the assembly election campaigns, BJP had been pretty aggressive, but you were not able to break Mamata's citadel in assembly.
We absolutely agree that we did not perform as well as we had thought that we would perform, but our performance was much better than prior to what our performances had been in West Bengal. We have literally made huge inroads into West Bengal, and we are very confident that in this next assembly election we will do a phenomenal job. And the reason why Mamata Banerjee is raising up this whole issue is because she is understanding that she's losing the ground.
Okay, Smita also joins me. Smita, let's finish the first section. What do you make of the word shuddhikaran by Prime Minister? Isn't it an endorsement of what the Election Commission of India is doing? Smita? I think her frame is not working, so let me go across to Mohammad Tausif Rahman. Mohammad, two questions to you. One, isn't it an endorsement of the? I'm sorry. I have to go back to Dr. Pooja Tripathi. It's not on purpose, Pooja. I really missed it. You were there. So no. I follow rotation in my debates. I don't give my spokespersons a mess. So one, what do you make of the shuddhikaran thing? And secondly, this vote chori campaign did not work in Bihar. Why is opposition so fixed on it? BJP got a very decisive mandate in that state. It just didn't work. It didn't work in Maharashtra also. So why is opposition so fixed on this issue, which is not creating any electoral dividends, ma'am?
And it would create, Karthikeya, good evening to everyone, it would create electoral dividends, because vote chori or the vote manipulation is a lived reality, and Rahul Gandhi has been giving ample proofs of it. You win one state. You just asked Ms. Jasmine Sandawala that how are you so confident that Mamata Banerjee is facing her last election? I think the answer lies in the special intensive revision, which is neither special, neither intensive, and neither revision. It's a systematic interference wrapped in bureaucratic path. And that's why, shuddhikaran, what do you mean by shuddhikaran? There was this huge hoopla of बहुत घुसपैठिए मिलेंगे, घुसपैठियों को बाहर करना है, Again, this bogey of घुसपैठिया started before the Bengal elections. I want to ask how many कितने घुसपैठिए मिले, कितने घुसपैठियों को बाहर भेजा गया, and what has been the घुसपैठिए sending back घुसपैठिए record of the NDA government in the last 10 years? It's an absolutely null. They just they throw away some words. And what I have some facts. When the SAR process was. When it began, the BJP, the Subhendu Adhikari, the Bharatiya Janata Party Bengal president claimed that there will be 1.5 to 2 crore people who would be took out a press conference and he said who would be removed, and it would include the Bangladeshi and Myanmar infiltrators. According to the report given by ECI on Monday, so far 91% forms have been filled and 43 lakh names including dead and fake voters are said to be removed. 21 lakh are dead, ECI reports. 15 lakh are transferred and 5 lakh are missing. Only 98,000 fake voters is ECI giving. I don't know where do they get this bogey of shuddhikaran, infiltrators and things like that. And now the tables have turned because I just read that Mamata Banerjee has started, people assisting people in their filling forms and everything. Now BJP is claiming that 1.5 to 2 crore forms जो पिछले 2 दिनों में that have been filled, they want auditing of it, and now they are claiming कि कुछ problem हुई है. Why the hurry? 32 BLOs have died. 26 people died in Pahalgam, and we were at the verge of a war. 32 BLOs have died, and Election Commission is busy posting reels of people dancing on breaks. And this is when I say bureaucratic capacity.
Okay.
So vote chori is the lived reality. Vote chori will not. If it's not about electoral dividends, definitely we want electoral dividends. हमको NGO नहीं है. We are a political party. We are here to fight elections. But look at how the voters have been manipulated, how they have been targeted. And that's why I think this Bharatiya Janata Party confidence ki ye to inka last elections are because SAR exercises actually the systemic exercise to delete the voters which have been.
Okay, Smita, two-pronged questions to you. One was on the shuddhikaran. The second question is, if you look at the tweet of Mahua Moitra, the TMC is pitching the entire election of the Bengalis not been given their due in the BJP ruled state. This is one of them. I've just put it as an example. Do you think that this is something which Mamata is pitching as an electoral pitch this time against BJP? Smita?
Yes. Can you repeat that, please?
My question is, if you look at Mahua Moitra's tweet, do you think that this Bengaliness, this Asmita politics is going to work this time? A lot of chief ministers do it. I don't blame her that she is the only one who's doing the politics of Asmita. But do you think this the politics of Asmita will be a counter to Bharatiya Janata Party?
See, if I'm not surprised by Mahua Moitra trying to raise this issue of, you will pay for this action, because if you remember, in the last elections in West Bengal, there was this whole debate created about this Bohiragato, which is people coming from outside and trying to, create a feeling among the voters that it is people from outside who are trying to influence you and sort of trample upon Bengali culture, etc. I do believe that there were certain steps, certain measures on which the BJP also should have been a little more cautious. That is not to say that the BJP was a party of outsiders, because their candidates were contesting from Bengal. Their candidates, their party organization was from Bengal. Certainly, it is not a West Bengal centered party like the TMC. So therefore, the central leadership will be obviously be from outside. But keeping that apart, so what happens in politics is when one formula works well, you do tend to try it again and again, hoping that it will work one more time. Most cases, it doesn't. As in a very rustic Hindi, we say, kaat ki handi dobara nahi chadti. So this is something on which I would say the jury is still out. Maybe the TMC, particularly with this whole SIR context, will be trying to raise this outsider thing against the BJP. We have already heard a few speeches in the past 1 month where this issue has been obliquely referred to. So probably they will be trying this. The same was tried in Bihar once. So this is particularly on what Mahua Moitra is trying to raise.
Okay.
But beyond that, let me also just add one line, Kartikeya, that the BJP has got a shot in the arm since the SIR in Bengal. As we all know, the full state SIR was the first in Bihar, and Bihar has given them a shot in the arm because they have realized Because let me tell you, and I'm sorry for repeating myself, but I have already shared with you that about 2 or 3 days after the vote chori yatra, the Bihar voter adhikar yatra in Bihar, I was there and nobody was talking about it. Even Bihar Congress was not interested in talking about it.
Okay.
So, you know, I mean, the BJP may be feeling that since the SIR settled in Bihar, in Bengal at least they got more time than Bihar. Even though people are complaining that Bengal timing is also short, but at least it is more than what Bihar got. Bihar, it was a very, very brief, very short window.
Okay.
So I think they will, yes, I think the BJP is now feeling more, I would say, encouraged after the SIR in Bihar.
Mohammad Rahman wants to respond to it. And do you think that these BLO issues are the real issues? I mean to say, I understand that the people have passed away, but just to entirely box them because of the work they are doing is a separate thing, sir.
Kartikeya, see, it's a very simple process. You cannot compare Bengal and Bihar geographically and politically. They don't have their own narrative. I mean, I have a point. I mean, if you allow me to go ahead. The last population census happened in 2011. It's a very important point. The last population census happened in 2011 because the 2021 census was cancelled somehow because of COVID. Now tell me, from that last list itself, how many infiltrators have you calculated? And after the calculation, even the government came up with Aadhaar card, Aapka Adhikar, Aapka Aadhaar. Still, the government failed brutally to come up with a number and find out infiltrators. They again came up with Aadhaar ko link karwao. We did that. And finally, they said Aadhaar is no longer an ID to prove your citizenship. Okay. Since then, we have participated in and voted with the same electoral list and witnessed some major election, Kartikeya, major election with the same census, including 2024 general election. So after the winning the last general election on the same electoral list, how come by the end of 2025 that particular electoral list is not pure and needs shuddhikaran? क्यों चाहिए आपको शुद्धिकरण? अब resign दे दो आप. If you think that electoral list was not okay, I agree. The whole TMC will say, okay, we all agree. Let's have a re-election with a new voter list. What's the problem? तो आप करें तो ठीक. अब जब यहां पर बारी आ रहा, बिहार में होगा, बंगाल में होगा, यूपी में होगा, अरे let's throw everything and let's start a new story from Jammu Kashmir to Kanyakumari. But you will not do that. Why? Because you are not bothered what's happening in India. 40 individuals have already lost their life since SIR began, Kartikeya. It's not a joke. We are crying with death linked to fear, stress and overload. A process that required 2-3 years has been compressed into 2 months. I mean, solely just to satisfy BJP.
Okay, I'll let Jasmine Sandawala respond to this.
Well, I've been listening very intuitively to what the gentleman was saying prior to me. I want to raise up one issue, Kartikeya, that don't you think that in any democracy there has to be a time where we have to verify the list? What is wrong in that? In any democracy, what is anybody okay? The logic here is so loop-sided when the opposition talks about it. If they think that victimization is being done, that their voters, they are supposedly belt of people who are going to vote for them, their names are being cut out. After all, the Supreme Court has come out with rules and regulations and guidelines. The Election Commission has come out with the rules and regulations. There is a system, there is a bureaucracy. After all, everything is not haywire. There are checks and there are balances. So what is wrong in primarily doing a total survey of the voters in India? We need it. It is for everybody. Not every man in India, not every eligible voter is going to vote for BJP, sir. There are other political parties who win, who are going to get a segment of votes. So what is wrong? There is literally nothing wrong. And to just keep saying that because the Prime Minister, a proactive Prime Minister in this country who's taking action to reform this nation and who's proactively working very hard, the opposition rallies together and starts taking out faults where there is nothing to talk about. I rest my case on that.
Kartikeya.
Okay, respond to it. Then the question was for Pooja. Please come in. Yes.
See, this whole SR is happening in India is not because of infiltrators. Let me be very clear. it is because BJP cannot win Bengal. If you're talking about election, let's get this straight. No hidden agenda. You cannot win Bengal. Bengal doesn't even share border with Myanmar. आप रोहिंग्या को ढूंढ रहे हैं. There are more than 6 states who share border with Bangladesh, but no SIR there. Why it's not starting in Assam? जरूर कुछ Supreme Court से आया होगा. 36 to 40 deaths in Bengal, but the BJP leaders are saying if they don't like the job, then kindly leave the job. It is not about bureaucracy, diplomacy, or something. It's all about humanity. We are there.
But you know, Jasmine Sandawala had a point. She did have a point that the matter went to the court. The court did not intervene in this matter. So it's a legit process that is in process.
So it's a sheer bad luck of us. It's sheer bad luck of humanity. If the court doesn't want to intervene, why not suo motu case in this SIR case? This is why we wanted to discuss inside the parliament. But again, the Prime Minister came up with, हमें यहाँ पे drama नहीं चाहिए. Is this a drama? हमारे लोग मर रहे हैं कार्तिके.
No. लोग तो देश के मरे हैं. मतलब I mean to say they don't belong to any political party. But the fact of the matter is,
they are from
if the
Bengal,
Supreme Court says that you know this exercise, we have no problem with the exercise. I think the letter of the law will prevail, na? The letter of the law will prevail. Isn't that, Pooja? Ultimately, the parties went to the Supreme Court. The matter was heard for a number of days. Senior judges were involved. It was, I think, in great detail covered, and the Supreme Court came out with its own position, and the matter commenced. Or else the court would have come down on it. There's so many things, so many issues on which the courts have made changes. Court made changes in the Waqf amendment by the government. Parts of it were changed, parts of it were retained. They could have stopped the SIR exercise, Dr. Pooja.
Nobody has a problem with SIR exercise. SIR exercise has happened in the past too, but we are asking why this sudden rush? 32 people, they're writing long suicide notes of 3 pages long. Somebody is crying inconsolably before hanging themselves. Just an hour back, UPBLO called Mohit Kumar consumed poison and her wife has made damning remarks. Why so sudden? And who benefits from this sudden exercise is what I ask, is simply what I ask. Democracy cannot survive on an electoral role which changes with political convenience. No, it needs manpower, it needs training, it needs system, it needs process, it needs everything, it needs resources. And I'm sorry to say, but Sir fails on absolutely everything of it. Why then? Why can't you? There's an election in Bengal. Why there's no election in UP? Why can't you extend the deadline? Why can't you give them some months to complete it? Why this has taken a fatality of 30-40 people? Every day we are reading people are taking suicide. In Bengal, the whole PLOs took out a protest drive and nobody is listening to them. Why can't we have a zero human cost of the same exercise that's claiming lives?
There is no doubt about the fact that every life should be accounted for. I mean, so there is no discussion on that. I mean, so there is no hyphen comma when it comes to every life should be accounted. My question is slightly different here because I always ask this question because it deeply worries me, because India is one post-colonial nation which can take the credit with great pride that we have been able to transfer power peacefully from one government to another. Now, if the theme of stolen election becomes ingrained in our electoral process, we end up becoming like almost fractured democracy like America or Russia or Brazil, where people don't trust from the other spectrum that the power they have got is just. Isn't that, Smita?
Yes, I mean, if you look at it,
it's so dangerous for democracy that the other party, after losing, feels that इन्होंने गड़बड़ किया है. It really shakes the edifice of the democracy. Look at Brazil, look at America. Bigger countries, yes, more prosperous.
I understand your point, and if you look at it in a wholesome perspective, any questions raised on the electoral process is never a healthy sign for an electoral democracy. But you must also see that this has been going on for a long time now. It started with the EVM campaign, and now we have the SIR. Tomorrow there may be something else, because the Election Commission, to be honest, has been, regularly trying to reform the electoral process and bringing in measures and steps which help people, which in a way they cleanse the electoral system. At the same time, they are also trying to strengthen the voting and etc. My point here is that clearly the people of the country are not getting so, they are not buying it. because had they been buying it, you would not have seen the. Kartike, did you see the queues lined up for voting in Bihar? At 7 in the morning, women in the remotest villages were lined up in queues of hundreds, smiling, trying to cast their vote. So clearly, as of now, I do not see much public, I do not see that the people are buying this campaign anymore. They did not buy it at the time of the EVM.
Okay. Let me take a closing comment from Mohammad Tausif Rahman. Mr. Rahman, do you think that this SIR campaign, Ghuspatia versus Vote Chori, will be the central theme of TMC's campaign? Do you think it's the TMC's campaign point?
Sir, I am not Narendra Modi that I will see everything as an election and campaigning and vote chori, gaddi chori. We are not BJP, sir. We are concerned about our Bengal. We are concerned about our people. Sir, I will give you one fact. Okay, we are talking about the borders. And I will exactly say what my National General Secretary Shri Abhishek Bandyopadhyay quoted. Border management and cross-border movement falls strictly under the jurisdiction of the Union Government and the BSF. I am not blaming the BSF.
पर आप ये भी मानते होंगे कि डेमोग्राफी बदली है बॉर्डर एरियाज की, ये भी सही है.
Sir, but instead of doing its job and ensuring proper communication, the BJP is trying to shift the blame onto the state using sensationalized media coverage. सर आप मुझे बताइए 2014 से पहले जो होम मिनिस्टर था उनसे पूछिए, 2014 के बाद जो होम मिनिस्टर था आप उनसे भी पूछिए. The state has no role in manning international borders. So घुसपैठिया आए तो भगाइए ना, कौन मना कर रहा है? But why do you want to compress? किस बात की चोरी है आपके मन पे? अरे come with SIR, come with Ganesh Kumar, come with Election Commission. We are there with you. We will stand with you. How come we will not follow the process? Are we so big that we will not follow Supreme Court's order? Are we so big that we will not follow Election Commission order? We will and we have to. But why do you scare so much? Why there is a compression of 2 months? The state has no role in manning international borders. So the question must be put to central government as to why misinformation is being allowed to spread unchecked and why the situation was permitted to escalate to all these infiltrators.
But there is a point, whose mistake, that's another debate. But there are people, illegal migrants.
It is Home Minister's mistake, Kartike.
No, that is another debate. That is another debate. That is another debate. But the fact is that they are internal migrants. Isn't that the case, Jasmine?
Of course, there is a huge segment of population in West Bengal which are parking themselves illegally and they are voting. So what is wrong in a democracy to wean them out? I totally fail to understand that the gentleman is saying that he wants to protect West Bengal.
He's the spokesperson of TMC,
West Bengal is part of India.
Madam, he's the spokesperson of TMC.
Right. He has to understand that there is nothing wrong in SIR, and nobody can deny that there is a large segment of population, Kartike, in West Bengal which is parking itself illegally, which is from Bangladesh. We can't deny that.
But madam, if you recall, in Jharkhand, your Ghuspatia campaign didn't work.
Kartike, in elections, many issues are raised. Many issues are raised, many concerns are raised, and if you lose an election, that does not mean that it did not sell or did it sell. It is the voter. Ultimately, it is the voter who decides, and we have to respect the voter. Look what happened in Bihar. So if we did not win, that does not mean that we were wrong, and if we win, that does not make us even right. So it's the voter ultimately who's going to decide which government he wants to.
Fair enough. Pooja, you wanted to come in?
As I said, this Ghuspatia bogie was pulled out in Jharkhand. It just died down post-elections. Delhi died down post-elections. Bihar died down post-elections. The whole exercise was Ghuspatia ko nikalna hai. Demography change ho gayi hai. Nothing happened. And now the Bengal. But if Ghuspatia, as claimed by Bharatiya Janata Party, are there, what is Home Ministry doing? What is Home Ministry doing if Ghuspatia is so big a problem? It's exactly like Kartikeya. Yesterday in Parliament, we asked the government that what have you done about the black money that has been ousted out of India? What is the quantity of black money that has been ousted out of India in the last 10 years? Government at the floor of the Parliament said they have no data. They started their electoral campaign in 2014, black money lying. Ghuspatia is exactly what black money and 15 lakh in per account was. They will raise it before every elections. But post-elections, the Home Minister will do absolutely nothing about it.
Let's see, we'll have to wait and see whether this SIR issue persists, because even the Bihar election started with vote chori and SIR. But by the time the election closed, there were completely different issues on the table in news studios and even with those who were campaigning. Thank you all of you for joining me. This was On Point 1. In the second On Point, we'll talk about whether Su-57 can fill India's 5th generation fighter jet gap. But after a short break.
लाइफ जब भी आगे बढ़ने का मौका दे तो अपनी सुपर पावर, अपना गोल्ड यूज करिए और IIFL फाइनेंस से गोल्ड लोन लीजिए।
IIFL फाइनेंस करता है सीधी बात।
Eastern India's first Business and Economy Literature Fest 2025 on 20th and 21st December at Taj Tal Kutir, Kolkata. EIILM Kolkata presents a Business and Economy Literature Fest 2025. Curation and ideation partner Story Nest.
25 लाख का हॉस्पिटल बिल है, इतने पैसे कहाँ से आएंगे?
पैसों की चिंता आप मत कीजिए पापा।
मैम, सर का हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस क्लेम अप्रूव हो गया है।
आप
पॉलिसी बाजार
पर 0 GST के साथ अब 1 करोड़ का हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस सिर्फ 550 रुपए महीने से शुरू।
लास्ट टाइम कश्मीर गई थी ना, वहाँ खाया शहद, पर उसके लिए कश्मीर जाना पड़ेगा। अरे कश्मीर क्यों जाना, कश्मीर ही यहाँ आ गया।
सुंदर वादियों में महकती खुशबू और रंग बिरंगे फूल, इनमें से शहद निकाल कर जमा किया जाता है असली शहद, लायन कश्मीर हनी।
असली शहद, असली स्वाद।
आराम से हाँ। सामान देना भैया।
अब आगे क्या करना है? वो पिट्टू की पर्ची में देखो ना, कहाँ गई पर्ची?
नमस्ते
जी।
हाँ, मुझे पता है वो पर्ची में क्या लिखा होता है। आप चलिए मेरे साथ। व्हील चेयर, ये आपका और ये
हाँ।
आपका। पर्ची में शॉपिंग की बात तो जरूर लिखी होती है। थोड़ी पेट पूजा की बात कोई पर्ची में ना लिखे, ऐसा हो सकता है?
टिफिन
थैंक यू।
अरे पर्ची मिल गई।
पर्ची में तो ये सब लिखा ही नहीं था।
हम है ना आपकी पर्ची।
सिर्फ वर्ल्ड क्लास एयरपोर्ट्स नहीं चलाते हैं, आपके सफर में हम सफर बन जाते हैं। अदानी, हम करके दिखाते हैं।
One of the biggest bilateral agendas of the President Vladimir Putin's state visit to India that begins on December 4th is greater defense cooperation. A day after the Kremlin confirmed major defense platforms including discussions on the Sukhoi Su-57 stealth fighters are on the agenda for the meeting between Prime Minister Modi and President Putin. The Duma has formalized a crucial military cooperation pact with India. India has embarked on its boldest quest to modernize its combat aviation arsenal to acquire 2 squadrons of Russia's most sophisticated 5th generation fighter, the Sukhoi Su-57. The plan envisions an initial fly-away purchase of 36 to 40 aircrafts, followed by comprehensive technology transfer to enable local production at HAL's Nashik facility. That's what sources are saying. The Su-57 represents Russia's leap into 5th generation technology, emphasizing stealth, sensor fusion and multi-role adaptability. Let's understand how it's a huge tech improvement over powerful 4th generation fighters such as F-16, MiG-29 and Su-27. The Su-57 incorporates radar absorbing materials under a reduced radar cross section. 4th generation fighters like Su-27 or MiG-29 lack advanced stealth shaping and coatings. It features advanced sensor fusion, AESA radar and infrared search and track system. 4th gen jets rely on older mechanically scanned radars and less integrated avionics. It is equipped with thrust vectoring engines and it can perform better maneuvers. The jet has strong agility but not the same post-stall maneuvering capability. It carries weapons internally to preserve strength and its radar signature is smaller. When I say radar signature is smaller, it means it's very difficult to get them on the radar. It's designed for both air superiority and strike missions with advanced precision guided munitions. Jet are often optimized for one role, requiring variants for different missions, but in this case you can use them differently. It integrates electronic warfare suite and countermeasures for modern threats, and jets have more limited self-protection systems. It can share data seamlessly with other platforms, enhancing battlefield awareness. The fighters have less advanced communication and networking system, the 4th generation, but Su-57 has longer operational range and endurance due to improved aerodynamics and fuel efficiency. The 4th gen fighters generally have shorter range. Su-57 cockpits are different, more advanced. 4th gen are older analog, semi-digital, but Su-57 is far better. It's but still limited in production and deployment. 4th gen fighters are widely produced and form the backbone of many air forces, but Su-57 is designed with upgrade potential for future weapons and system. 4th gen are reaching the limits of modernization. So in multiple ways they are very different. I am joined by Air Commodore Dr. Ashwinder Singh Bahal, Defence and Strategy expert. Sir, my first question is, what gap will Su-57 fill, and how is it different, sir, from the Americans and the Chinese versions, which are very, very expensive?
Karthikeya, first of all, thank you very much for getting me and inviting me to this great show, which I love a lot.
Thank you.
And you have covered a lot of points, So there are a lot of things that you have already covered, but I can go and elaborate on that better way in terms of more technically, so as to explain how it can fill the gap, technological gap. Currently, we have close to 516 combat aircrafts, out of which 259 to 260 are Su-30 MKI, which is the 4th generation, and there are about 36 or so Rafale, which is 4.5 generation, which is low observability aircraft. And when we talk of Su-57, we are looking at a 5th generation stealth fighter. Now, what do you mean by stealth? The way stealth means that there are 3 signatures of an aircraft. First is the radar cross section, or a signature it paints on a radar screen, which is either on ground or in air, which is trying to pick up a hostile threat or an aircraft or an unmanned aerial vehicle. So this radar cross section means what is the type of signature and at what distance it can pick up. So when we talk of Sukhoi 57, we are talking of a radar cross section of 0.1 to 1 square meters. When we are talking of Su-30 MKI, which is a 4th generation, we are looking at a radar cross section of 4 square meters to 12 square meters. So you can imagine an aircraft that can be picked up at roughly 200 to 250 kilometers. In case of a Su-57, it will be picked up probably between 50 to 100 kilometers. Now, and the best thing about their signature is not just the signature itself. The radar fitted on a Su-57, it is NO36 Balka radar, which has a range of 400 kilometers, and it can pick up stealth aircraft at about 90 kilometers. And stealth is which one? Like F-35 or J-35 aircraft. In fact, they are saying that the F-35 and J-35, which is the 5th generation of America and China, can be picked up between 110 to 120 kilometers. It is phenomenal good, that radar. But when they talk of giving us Su-57, they're also talking of co-development. They're also talking of transfer of technology, 100%. They're also talking of giving us the source code. The problem with Rafale or the Mirage 2000, though they are damn good aircraft, is that we don't have their source code. So we cannot fit in Virupaksha gallium nitride, our own indigenously produced radar, which is manufactured in India by LRDE. So we can't fit that on a Mirage 2000 or a Rafale, but we can fit it on a Su-57, we can fit it on a Su-30 MKI.
So for a general viewer, how is a 4.5 generation or 4th generation aircraft at a disadvantage from a 5th generation aircraft in air?
Okay, so let's look at Rafale. Rafale is a 4.5 generation low observability. Low observability means the ranges at which it can be picked up would be larger than the ranges at which a Su-57 will be picked up. So the stealth characters, it's not a stealth aircraft. Stealth aircraft, the radar cross section is much lower, and also the heat signature is much lower. We always talk of radar cross section. We rarely talk of heat signature. You had mentioned something like infrared search and tracking system. The infrared search and tracking systems are fitted on different fighter aircraft, like Su-57 has an exceptionally good IRST, infrared search and tracker. So even if it doesn't pick up an aircraft on its radar, it can pick it up by the heat signature of that aircraft which it picks up on its IRST, which means the sensor fusion is such that whether it picks up from the radar, its radar or IRST, it can still show it on its own screen that there is a threat emerging and this is the type of threat. So the thing that we talk of Su-57 and extremely important is that it has got a sensor fusion of a very high order compared to Rafale. Now the Rafale that they are going to offer us is the Rafale F4, which is an advanced version of the F3 that we have today. At the same time, it cannot match the capabilities or stealth of that of the Su-57. But more than that, there is something called super maneuverability. You were showing the aerobatics of a Su-57. You showed how it stands up virtually in the air, and thereafter, it changes direction and can now
we'll play the visual.
We'll
play the visual because you're referring to that. Let's play those. Yes,
look like this, this is called super maneuverability with high agility. Agility means changing the direction of your aircraft very quickly. Look at it, the way it changes its direction. And now from going away, it can come and attack you. So that is the kind of super maneuverability. Why does it have super maneuverability? It has thrust vectoring, which means its exhausts of the engines can be changed. And when its exhaust can be changed, means it can be tilted. The aircraft instantly turns, and that is the reason why the aircraft, the maneuverability or the agility of this aircraft is phenomenal. It cannot be matched by any other aircraft in the world today.
Sir, how many fifth generation aircrafts are war tested, sir? Is Su-57 war tested? And what do Americans have as fifth generation and the Chinese?
Yeah, the fifth generation that Americans have is F-35. They have produced 1,000 number plus of this aircraft, and it has been war tested in a number of scenarios. So when we look at the fifth generation aircraft of China, there are two: I stand corrected, J-20 and J-35. They also have a prototype of J-36, which is a sixth generation prototype that they have already flown by two different companies, that is Shenyang and Chengdu. So they have also developed sixth generation, whereas we are developing our fifth generation NAMCA, which is at design stage. Now here is a fifth generation of Su-57, which has taken part in Russia-Ukraine war. In May 2022, it fired a long-range missile. The beauty of Su-57 is that it can launch Kinzhal missile, which has a range of 2,000 kilometers and a speed of Mach 10, which means it's hypersonic, 10 times the speed of sound. And therefore, it cannot be intercepted by any other. Now, we are looking at a Su-57. When they give it to us, they're also giving us an air-to-air missile, which has a range of 300 to 400 kilometers, R-37R. But the best part is when they give us 100% transfer of technology, the MCA technologies that we may not be having as of this moment, we can easily incorporate them. So we can include our own weapon systems, Indian weapon systems like Astra, BrahMos in Su-57, but we cannot do it right now in Rafale because we don't have a source code, and the French are not, and the Western countries are not very, very happy giving away their technology or the source code. So this is a major advantage, and also the Su-30 MKI that we are going to upgrade. We already have 50% of the infrastructure for Su-57 when we are looking at a Su-30 MKI upgrade. And that is the added advantage. And why am I pitching for this? Because it's not that I like the Su-57 because it's a Russian aircraft, though I love Russians. I can assure you that. I have worked with them in different countries. But they are reliable partners. They always give us the contemporary technology, and they never shy away, from helping us out in difficult situations.
I think you made a very strong point. I think because I've run short of time, I think you made a strong point. transfer of technology and reliability. I think that is also very important between two countries when it comes to defense partnership. Thank you so much, sir, for joining me on this second on point. But I also have a third on point. And third on point is about the purchase, the so-called purchase of the Russia's S-500 defense system. What does it mean for India? As Russian President Vladimir Putin heads for New Delhi, India wants to build upon S-400's success during Operation Sindoor. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov confirmed that the major defense agreement, including S-400 air defense system, are expected to be discussed during Putin's visit. While India wants to expand the S-400 arsenal, it is also eyeing S-400's far superior successor, S-500 Prometheus. During India's offensive operations in May this year, 400, popularly known as Sudarshan Chakra, detected, tracked, shot down multiple Pakistani aircraft deep inside Pakistani airspace. The system was so effective during Operation Sindoor that India is now seeking 5 more S-400 regiments. On this issue, I am joined by Group Captain Retired V.N. Jha, Senior Scientist, Aerospace and Joint Director. On my right side, please continue to read the difference between S-400 and 500, but without wasting time, I'll just go to Mr. Jha. So, is it correct to say that the S-500 are a completely different ball game?
No, I won't say that, but surely S-500 is upgrade from the S-400. There are many pros and cons about it. Remember, S-400 is battle proven, S-500 is not. But there is one small factor which must be remembered by Indian Armed Forces and the Directorate of Ministry of Defense. That is, S-400 is also with China, S-500 is not yet. So while dealing with China, possibly that could become an edge, but then I don't know whether in the coming months or coming years, China will not procure it or they will not replicate the same system within their territory. China and Russia has got that unlimited defense partnership in which it is always possible that Russia can always give this system to China. So that also nullifies the benefit that S-500 may. But then, what happens? India is not solely dependent for the air defense system on S-400. Look, S-400 can make a kill, as you are displaying your slides, make a kill almost about, say, 80 kilometers above the air in the atmosphere. But remember, we have got two very potential and potentially lethal system, air defense system. One is Prithvi 1, which can make a kill at the range of about 200 to 300 kilometers. At an altitude of about 80 kilometers or so above the Earth's surface. Another system, AAD missiles, Advanced Air Defense System missiles. This also can shoot incoming ballistic missiles at altitude of about 30 kilometers, about 150 to 200 kilometers apart. So we are not a newer a nave in this particular field. We have got Prithvi 1 missile air defense system. We have got AAD missile air defense system. We have got Barak 8, which is also very effective. It makes a kill at almost about 100 odd kilometers. So all these are available with us. In addition to that, there is an Akash air defense system, there is a Spider system, there are Pichora systems. All these are there in the Indian arsenal. So we are not, desperately banking onto the S-400 or S-500. Surely S-400 has given us additional lethal edge over Pakistan in the previous Operation Sindoor. But it is a gainer. It will make a gain. But S-500, look, PM Modi has given a mandate to DRDO now to make Sudarshan Chakra. In this Sudarshan Chakra, many more advanced versions of the missiles with the...
Okay, let me ask this question, sir. Do we have the capacity to intercept hypersonic missiles? Because now, I think the entire the development is towards those missiles which cannot be intercepted. 10 Mach, 9 Mach, making interception impossible. Isn't that so, sir?
It is not only 9 Mach, 10 Mach. It is 15 Mach, 20 Mach. The one arsenic what Russia had fired, It is about 17 Mach of the terminal velocity. No one can shoot it down. There is no time to track it and then make a counter offensive against it. There is no time. But remember, most of these hypersonic missiles are not nuclear armed, because even for the nuclear detonation to take place above the surface, there needs to be a time for the detonation mechanism, for the height to be perceived, and then make the detonation system happen. So even there, it is a reasonably safe option. We should not be waylaid by that, okay, so-and-so has got a hypersonic. No problem. Let them have hypersonic. But when it comes to the missiles, that lethal capacity of the nuclear arsenal, their interception is the one, and reasonably good target acquisition is the one what makes all the difference. Look, most of the missiles, as you may look, it doesn't come like this. It doesn't come here. The moment approximity happens, there's a detonation in our air defense system, whether it is S-400 or Prithvi Air Defense System or AD, that detonates. And the fragments of it, that damages the incoming missile, and that is made neutralize the impact of it. Even the range goes down, target goes down, everything goes hayward, and that missile is made non-effective. So remember this, and then in light of this, India has to look 30 years, 40 years beyond, in which PM Modi has given.
Are you saying that there is no deterrence to a hypersonic delivery system?
There could be in the coming days. Work is already happening both in India and abroad. There could be a deterrence. But right now, for a missile like Oshnik and some more, which has got Mach value of terminal Mach velocity of about 10 Mach beyond.
Do you think BrahMos can be intercepted? It's a supersonic missile?
Yeah. It is a supersonic missile. About 2.2 to 2.5 is the Mach is the velocity. It can be intercepted. There's no problem. But hypersonic, when we are calling, hypersonic is only beyond 6 Mach of the velocity. And these ballistic missiles, what we are talking, it has got the terminal velocity of 12 to 18 Mach. 12 to 18 Mach. It's a phenomenal amount of velocity. Before you blink, it has already hit you. And we have seen an example of this happening in the Ukrainian territory. So that is the type of threat hypersonic missile poses. Even India has got the hypersonic missile capability. India already has. So these threats should be perceived by the enemy, and it is a deterrence there in that. For the nuclear, yes, there has to be an effective air defense system. Remember when this battle was going on, Operation Sindoor 1, there was one missile by Pakistan fired at Delhi. But that was intercepted effectively by our own missile defense system. So these pros and cons will continue happening. The technological advancement in the missile...
But don't you think we need an upgrade of S-400, sir?
Oh yes, that is one area where we must work with the Russians, because in the target acquisition system, where intricacy comes the maximum, that target acquisition system of late in India by DRDO itself has been worked on, and today its variation is about say 0.5 meter, just about that much. So it is that accurate right now, but it has to be even lesser than that, so that no missile goes without hitting that incoming target. So those are the area where it has to work in, and then integrate it with the other systems also that I have named to you. Prithvi Air Defense System, Advanced Air Defense System, Akash, Spider, Barak, keep on naming it. Gone are the days when we used to have Pechora 2. Pechora 2 missiles used to look like ballistic missiles, huge one. Pechora 3 was much smaller, sleeker one with a limited range. Pechora 4 is gone. Now all this new generation of the missile, S-125 Pechora has come, S-200 has come. So these are much inferior to S-400. But S-500 is not yet battle proven. In case if Russia is interested in co-developing with the Indian specifications of the face value added to it. Well, let it be, and then both Russia and India can work together, make a joint development plan, make a face values, that additional face values that will be introduced into the next version of the missile. Let that be introduced, and then co-production of both countries may happen all together, and this will be a very effective air defense system. Karthik.
Thank you so much. I think you have put the pros and cons of S-500 in place, and yes, the fact of the matter is maybe even the Chinese may be getting access to this technology because the Russians have close relationship with them. But the fact is India also need these technologies, and the important thing is Russians are always available to us in the context of the transfer of technology, and I think that's where the story is. So this is all I had on Point today. I'll see you tomorrow at the same time. Thank you and good night.
सोच रहा हूँ टर्म लाइफ इंश्योरेंस ले लूं ताकि मेरे बाद फैमिली को पैसों की कमी ना हो। तू भी ले ले।